Hi, I'm Paulos from blancotinto.com, Great Small Wines, and I'm here to present you a vertical wine tasting. We're going to talk about a winery from Catalonia region, from Priorat. It is called Martinet, famous for their red wines, but this is their latest project with an orange wine called Pesseroles Brisat. Brisat in Catalan means skin contact. So here we have 3 bottles, 3 vintages, and vertical tasting. What does that mean? It doesn't mean that we have to do that standing up. It means that we're going to taste the same wine from 3 different years, starting with 2016 and finishing with 2018. So this is a pretty recent project because the plot was planted back in 2002 on one vineyard, small vineyard, less than 1 hectare surface, on the road to the village of Pesseroles, hence the name. It is made out of a blend of 3 typically locally grown grape varieties, white grape varieties, that is Picapol, Grenache Blanc or Garnacha Blanca, and Pedro Ximénez, more or less in similar proportions. The winemaking is kind of a romantic way, also kind of an ancestral way. So once the grapes are hand-picked from this organically grown vineyard, they're brought to the winery, they're foot-trodden and put into a clay amphora, clay pot, for fermentation. After a fermentation of one month and a half, the skins of the grapes are still left in the clay pot to cool down for 3 months. Afterwards, the wine is pressed and racked into a glazed ceramic jar and demijohns. So demijohns are traditional, ancestral kind of classic big glass bottles for storing the wine or for making wine. Here we have the bottle is of a clear glass, sort of like reminding us of this winemaking in demijohns, but also letting us to appreciate this precious, lovely light amber color. So as you can see, 3 different vintages, they have almost the same color, even though the years are different. So now, how do we do this wine tasting? So first, I will do the aromatic wine tasting, and afterwards the flavor. So we'll do a comparison wine tasting. So let's start with the first one, 2016, 2017, and finally 2018, the current vintage just released. All 3 wines have something in common, that would be the perfumed aromas of dried herbs and dried flowers, and a little bit of a fruity notes, but more over like dried fruit, like dried peach probably. But then we also have quite a lot of differences. For instance, 2016, that was a very dry and very hot year. Surprisingly, it smells a little bit more fruity. We got undernotes of yellow plum and also a little bit of like white pepper. Whereas 2017 was a rather fresh vintage, and it smells much more floral, like on a floral, more delicate side. Whereas 2018 has all this sort of a mineral note that reminds or transports us to the place where the grapes are grown, to the soil, or the like nice aroma of like a hot stone. Now let's try them. Very nice structure. We feel a little bit of tannin, but very delicate. Very good acidity, all 3 wines. And again, on the palate, we realize that it corresponds to the nose. So 2016, that was the very first vintage of this wine, only around 400 bottles made. This taste also a little bit more fruity on the palate, whereas 2017, very complicated vintage, less than 400 bottles made. Again, it is more floral on the palate, delicious. Whereas 2018, almost double quantity, less than 800 bottles. We're talking about super tiny productions, artisan winemaking, and this is more youthful, more vibrant, probably a little bit more of a fresh, because obviously it's the youngest wine of all 3. All the wines are pretty delicate, They're not super powerful, so it could be drank on its own, or it could be paired with some kind of lighter foods. We wouldn't want to put a lot of spicy foods in here, very strong flavors, not to overwhelm the delicate wine flavors and aromas. So you can find all 3 vintages available at our online shop. We hope you enjoy them. Share your comments with us, and cheers!